Hello, and welcome to a word of hope for Thursday of the 33rd week in Ordinary Time. Today's Gospel from St. Luke is very short and very poignant. I'd like to share it with you. As Jesus drew near Jerusalem, he saw the city and wept over it, saying, "If this day you only knew what makes for peace." And then at the end of the Gospel, he says, "You did not recognize the time of your visitation." I remember that Gospel reference from an evangelization retreat that I went to at the cathedral here in Chicago 20-some years ago, a long time ago. And the preacher asked us a question about the condition of the world. He said to us, "Do you ever imagine God crying?" And the cathedral was just silent as we pondered whether or not God cries. And then he referenced Luke 19, the gospel of today. And he said, yes, in Jesus, God cries. Jesus cried several times in the Gospels, and he cries today over the city of Jerusalem and the people's rejection of peace. I have to tell you, I used that gospel over 20 years ago when Sister Ann and I were preaching a parish mission in River Falls, Wisconsin on the day of 9/11. I was actually at Mass when the pastor handed me a note telling me to announce after communion that the Twin Towers had been attacked. And that evening, the entire city, all the churches in the city, came together at the Catholic Church to have an ecumenical prayer service. And the pastor said, "We have a mission going on, so I want our preachers to preach." I had to preach that evening. I was petrified. But I used this gospel, Luke 19, Jesus weeping over the people's rejection of peace. And I simply presented the same image that night of God crying over what had happened on 9/11. And then expanded it to say that God has probably cried on everything that led up to 9/11. And then I expanded it to the challenge of whether or not we will continue to cause God to cry by whatever choices we make in response. My friends, this gospel doesn't invite us to look backwards and look at the Jews that caused Jesus to cry. This gospel asks the question, does Jesus weep over us, over our thoughts, and over the choices we make? Let us look closely at that today and recommit ourselves to peace, to the peace of God in Jesus Christ, and nothing more. God bless you.